What is up, guys? Welcome to the full cold approach guide for beginners and introverts. This is for people who've either never done a cold approach in their lives or have done a couple cold approaches but haven't really gotten results out of it, okay? So if you consider yourself intermediate or advanced, this video is probably going to be very basic to you. But if you're somebody who's new to cold approaching, who's just getting started, then this video is going to work wonders. And I'm actually going to be showing you the exact blueprint that I use and guys in my community use to get the best possible results. I've personally done hundreds of approaches in my life, and the guys who I help in my community get great results. As you can see here, somebody said, "Went on my first date from a cold approach today." I've done roughly 60 daytime cold approaches at this point. The stuff YBC teaches you definitely works. And inside my community, I also do monthly challenges where I literally give you money for approaching. So it doesn't get better than that. If you want to check it out, you can. If not, no pressure at all. Let's get into the system itself, right? So we want to take somebody who's never done an approach in his life. Okay, we're going to assume that he's introverted, he's not very social, and he's afraid of talking to women. The first thing that we have to do is we have to overcome this person's limiting beliefs. Because at this point, this person's probably asking autistic questions on Black Pill forums like, guys, can an LTN pull an HTB or is that impossible? Like just dumb shit like that. So we're going to have to address some limiting beliefs. We're going to have to help reframe those limiting beliefs so that he's actually properly wired to do the approaches. Next up, we have to desensitize him to women and to cold approaching, right? Because a lot of guys are afraid of rejection, they're extremely nervous, and what this will do is sort of put a wall on your personality. You're not going to be able to express yourself, you're going to be too stuck in your head, and the goal here is to slowly desensitize you to make talking to random girls a very normal thing, to where you're not shitting yourself before you do it. And then next, we're going to do some behavioral programming, aka game and social skills. This is going to exponentially improve your percentages and your results. And then we're going to talk about volume and how to maximize your volume. And then obviously there's going to be some reflection at the end, because some people are going to follow this blueprint and they're not going to get the best results. And there's obviously many factors at play other than your game and other than your exposure. This should go without saying, because I know a ton of people are going to comment something to do with looks. Oh, this won't work if you're good looking, if you're Chad, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, work on your looks the entire time. Nobody is denying that looks matter. Can we move past that? Like, you guys be commenting the same shit all the time. Like, I guarantee you top comment's gonna have something to do with looks, right? And it's like, dude, okay, yeah, we get it. Just improve your looks passively. This is like a self-improvement thing that you should be doing in the back end. This video is specifically about how to cold approach and how to get the most out of cold approaching. Okay? And trust me when I say there is much more to this than looks. So don't be that one guy who just makes everything about face and height because you're autistic and you're probably never going to get results with women. I'm just being honest with you. But if you insist on doing it, do it. Anyways, you boost my engagement, I win. So do whatever you want. But yeah, let's get started. So the first thing that we have to do is address limiting beliefs here, right? So here are a couple limiting beliefs that are going to go through your head before you actually do your first approach. The first thing you might be thinking is, well, what if I get labeled as a creep? The second thing is maybe you think that you're not tall or good looking enough to start cold approaching. Maybe some black pillar on a forum told you that if you're not an HTN or higher, you're finished. Another limiting belief you have is that women don't want to be bothered. You know, they don't want to be approached. They just want to be left to do their own thing. You know, maybe you think that you'll end up being a nuisance, you'll end up annoying her, or maybe you just think that you're going to get rejected no matter what you do. So what we have to do is reframe these beliefs, because let me tell you guys, right? All of the things that you fear are simply in your head. They are fears. And I'm not going to say that these things can't happen, because the truth is you can get labeled as a creep. You can get rejected. In fact, you're likely to get rejected. But my question to you is, who cares? Literally, who cares? A lot of you guys are too sensitized to women and how they respond, and you internalize things when you don't have a big enough sample size to do so. So it's like, okay, what if I get labeled as a creep? I've been labeled as a creep before, yet I'm still alive, and you guys don't see me behind bars right now. So I live to approach another day. It's not a big deal. I feel like a lot of people who are new and don't have many reps in cold approaching are just living in a state of fear. They're just scared. This is all this is, guys. You're just afraid. And listen, it's okay. It's primal. It's a natural response to be afraid. But the more exposure you get and the more experience you get, the less afraid you're gonna be. The less these things are gonna matter to you. Like, dude, I've been called a creep a couple times in the past. It doesn't happen often, but yeah, it can happen. I don't even remember these girls' names. So it's like, dude, who cares, right? Oh, I've gotten rejected. Big deal. Oh, my feelings are going to get hurt. It's like a lot of black pillars are just too emotional and too sensitive. And they make up concepts like, oh, you're farming trauma, man. Okay, if you do 50 approaches and you get rejected in all 50, you're farming trauma. Most people aren't going to be farming trauma. Most people are going to see success in between, which is actually going to motivate them to keep doing it, right? It's like you need to reframe this. You need to start thinking as, who cares what a stranger labels me as? I'm probably never going to see this girl again. If a girl rejects you, you can say, okay, this girl didn't find me attractive, but there are more women out there who find me attractive, right? Most of you guys, there are women out there who find you attractive. You're not sub threes. And chances are, statistically, you're probably in the 5 to 6 range. So you have to have this mindset that it's okay if you approach, that women will actually be thrilled when you approach them, that you bring good energy to the conversation, and that you're not doing anything wrong, and that if you get rejected, who cares, right? That's the kind of frame that I want you guys to have. And like, of course, when you're new and you're a beginner, everything's gonna feel intimidating and scary, but I promise you guys, get some reps in and you will realize that like you're gonna stop caring about all of this shit so quickly. I actually feel bad for people who are stuck in this mindset because it kind of screams inexperience, bro. It either screams inexperience or it screams too much bad experience, which we're gonna get to. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna address what to do if bad things happen to you often when you cold approach. But for majority of cases, that's just not gonna be the case, okay? So I want you to reframe all of these shitty negative beliefs, get them out of your head, and let's move on. Next step, we have desensitization. You're scared to approach, you don't know what to say, you've never done it before. There is a cold approach ladder that I want you to climb. The idea here is that similar to the gym, you know, you can't bench 225 your first time at the gym. You want to progressively overload to higher levels. Think of your social skills kind of like a muscle, right? And the more momentum you have, the more that you socialize, the easier it's going to be to socialize. So what we actually want to do is take you from a low pressure to a high pressure situation through warming up, right? So for example, and the way I like to see this is through a hierarchy of nerves, right? Your level of nervousness is going to depend on the situation. If you're talking to close friends and family, chances are you won't be nervous. You'll easily be able to be yourself because like they're close friends, they're family, you trust them. It's not intimidating at all. Complimenting a stranger, again, an old man walking down the street, are you going to be afraid to compliment him? Pretty easy to do, right? Conversation with a stranger. Now, a lot of people have anxiety when it comes to conversations, but who said that you have to go and talk to the girl you like right away? You can talk to your Uber driver when you're in the car. You can make small talk with the grocery clerk. You can talk to security in your building. You can just have conversations with people in general, right? This is also going to train your social muscle and get you used to talking to people. That's the idea here. Asking a woman for directions, again, low pressure. You're not going for the number. You're not doing anything crazy. You're just going up to a girl and saying, hey, do you know where the nearest Starbucks is? Low pressure, easy to do. Complimenting a woman. Now, this is obviously the next level. You go up to a girl, you drop her a compliment, and you walk off. You're not asking for an outcome. You're not asking for a number. Conversations with a woman, again, 2 to 3 minute interaction. You go up to her, you open, you say a couple things, but you leave without trying to get the number or the IG. I find that the highest nerves and pressure comes before you ask for the number because this is an outcome, right? You're expecting her to either say yes or no, and her answer is probably going to have an effect on your emotions. Whereas if you just have a conversation without trying to get the number, there's going to be a lot less pressure around the interaction. And then the next step after that is to have a conversation with a woman and then actually get her number or her Instagram, right? So you're used to having conversations, you just need to add that last part in. By this point, you'll have developed your social muscle enough to where this won't feel so bad. Notice how we're taking it piece by piece, one step at a time. And then after that, if you want, you can even start going for group approaches. And the highest level of nerves is opening groups of women with guys in that group, okay? So this is the hierarchy of nerves. You want to gradually progress it, all right? So do every step until you stop feeling nervous, until it feels comfortable, and then move on to the next one. And if you want a specific system to warm up, a specific routine to do, then you could always check out my community. I can help you there. Let's move on. Next up, we have behavioral programming, which is your game and your social skills. Now, if you're a beginner, right, and you haven't done at least 10 approaches in your life, forget about game, forget about the techniques, forget about what should I say when she says this, what should I do? Just desensitize yourself to approaches and get some reps in, okay? Because a lot of beginners are watching all these videos on theory and trying to memorize all this information. That's just going to confuse you further, okay? Right now, your goal is to just do it. Just get out there, leave your house, and do some approaches. So what I want you to do is start with direct openers if you're a beginner. Pick one of these lines that I'm about to show you and just memorize it. What this is going to do do is it's going to reduce your decision fatigue, and it's going to reduce your anxiety before you open a girl, because you already know what you're going to say. Part of the anxiety comes from not knowing what you're going to say. Oh my God, I have to talk to this girl. I don't know what to tell her. Memorize one of these openers. Hey, excuse me, I saw you from over there and I thought you were cute. What's your name? You seem interesting. What's your name? Hey, I like the vibe of your outfit. Very simple, very easy. Steal one of these lines and just rinse and repeat at least 10 times, okay? So if you're a beginner, don't think about game, don't think about anything right now except getting a couple reps in, okay? And don't even go in with an outcome, guys. Don't expect anything. Don't be like, I need to get numbers or else I won't feel worthy inside. It's like, dude, these girls are strangers. Who gives a fuck, right? All right, simple framework for beginners. What you want to do is open direct with one of these lines that I just gave you. Have a basic 2 to 3 minute conversation. And then at the end of that conversation, whenever you feel like ending it, say, well, anyways, I gotta go, but you're fun. Let me grab your number before I leave. It doesn't get simpler than this, guys. I really cannot make it simpler than this, okay? So if you're a beginner, this is all you have to do. Do this around 10 times. After 10 approaches, then we can start talking game. Then we can start talking about how do I increase my percentages? What do I do to come off as more attractive, etc. I'm not going to go into each specific one in detail because I already have extensive information on that in my school, and I might make videos on these in the future. But things like opening indirect, extending the conversation longer, false time constraints, teasing, escalating, going on Insta dates, frame, push-pull, group approaches, body language, eye contact, vocal tone, all of these things matter. All of these things can be calibrated to the degree where you're actually getting much better results and your results fucking skyrocket through the roof. If you don't believe these things work, I mean, more for the rest of us. I don't really care. All right, next up, let's talk about volume. So I'm sure you guys can agree that, you know, a couple approaches isn't a big enough sample size to draw any conclusions. You need to actually shoot some volume to be able to discern what your attractiveness level is and how much success you're actually getting. Like a lot of guys will do 2 approaches, get rejected twice, and then think it's over and that they're not good looking and end up on BP forums. Like, no, dude, do at least, and I'm saying at the very least, 20 approaches before you draw any conclusions. So in my experience with dealing with hundreds of guys and talking to a lot of guys who do approaches regularly, these are the conversion rates that you should expect if you're a beginner. And again, I'm accounting for the fact that you're probably average looking. If you're above average looking, if you're tall, great, you're probably going to get better results. But these are the numbers that you should expect on average. So first of all, 25% of approaches will give numbers, which means 1 in every 4 girls that you talk to are going to give you their number. Second, 50% of numbers will text back. So let's say that you get 10 numbers from cold approaching, around 5 of those numbers are actually going to text you back. And then 30% of girls who text back will go on a date, right? So let's say, you know, you have 3 girls who text you back, then you should expect to go on a date with at least one of them. So this means that for every 20 approaches you do as a beginner who's average looking, and again, this varies by location, but generally speaking, 20 approaches equals 1 date. Okay, these are just average results here. So what are the best locations to shoot volume? Malls, park, streets, festivals, bars and clubs, coffee shops, farmers market, large campuses, emphasis on large, public transit. Now, what you want to do is you want to be smart with how you approach, because you could shoot a ton of volume in a place that's packed, but you don't want to shoot a ton of volume in certain locations because you could poison the well. So some of the worst locations to shoot volume are gym, class, libraries, grocery stores, professional settings, or work, because chances are the girls there know each other. Chances are you're probably going to see her again. And if it's awkward and it doesn't go well, then there could be some tension. So I'm not saying don't approach at these places, by the way, you certainly should. It's just that you should be more conservative with approaching in these locations. Like if you're at the gym, don't approach 10 girls at the gym. Approach 1 or 2 that you find really attractive. And your percentages will increase as your game gets better, as your confidence gets better, and as your looks max, which you should be doing all 3. So yeah, let's move on. The last step here is to reflect. Is this worth it for you? Because if you've done over 50 approaches and you have not gotten any results, it's time to take a step back. That means that there's a problem and we need to figure out what that problem is. So if we're going to do some troubleshooting, there are probably 3 things that are going on. Number 1 is you have a looks problem. Your looks or your height are simply not good enough. The second thing is that your social mannerisms are off. So like you're scaring women away. Maybe you have a bit of neurodivergence. You're like socially uncalibrated. And lastly, your market may just be rigged. You may live in a very competitive place where you're either going to need more exposure or you're going to need to relocate somewhere else. So what we want to do is we want to fix these problems and then re-enter, right? So if your looks are inadequate, you want to looks max. Whether this is soft or hard maxing is up to you. Again, if you need help with specific looks maxing advice, I also provide that in my community. In fact, I also have a full looks maxing guide. I'm telling you guys, not to like glaze my community, but we have the most comprehensive, well-rounded framework on the market right now. Like most communities you'll find are either game related or looks related. We integrate both because we understand both matter. So the second thing is awareness and correction of bad social behaviors. Like if you're socially off, you need to figure out what it is that makes you socially off. And then obviously, if your market is rigged, the only thing you can do is change your location. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You want to constantly be reflecting, because if you've done 50 approaches and you've gotten rejected all the time, then yes, at that point you are farming trauma. At that point, it's wise to step back and see what's going on here. But for most of you, you don't need to really look smacks first and then cold approach. Most of you guys don't really have looks so bad that if you cold approached, you wouldn't get any results. And the reason I don't recommend you have this mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna look smacks first and then I'm gonna cold approach is because it's never gonna be enough. Trust me, you're gonna look smacks and you're gonna be like, well, you know, I could still be better looking before I cold approach, and the cycle's never gonna end. So you might as well just tackle both head on, work on both at the same time. And yeah, that's pretty much my full cold approaching blueprint. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.